We are Mike and Taylor, and these are our dogs, Penny and Lucy. We sold our home and nearly everything we owned, moved aboard a 40-foot boat, and sailed from Seattle. This is the story of us making our way. Welcome back, friends. We have recently pulled into our final port in the country of Mexico. But because our passage here was racked with critical equipment failure, what was planned to be just a few days stop here before sailing on to Costa Rica has now turned into weeks as we wait for our new autopilot to arrive.
Well, we are now unexpectedly stuck in Marina Chiapas. Not a terrible place to be stuck, I suppose, but because of the autopilot issues we were having, and it's just gonna get replaced. So anyway, as we wait here for all these parts to come in, basically everything needs to get shipped to a company in San Diego who's gonna then import it and get it down here to us. It's gonna take a couple weeks. Just trying to be as productive as possible before everything shows up. So like earlier today, I kind of threw together this little mount that'll be where the new rudder sensing unit for the new autopilot goes, and then I'm just going to kind of remove some of the old stuff and move some of the old stuff. So my plan is to actually try to leave the old autopilot mostly installed, so basically we will have a backup even though it malfunctions a lot. Better than nothing. So that's kind of my plan. Yeah, so I'm going to try to move the old autopilot control unit to a different spot. So the new Triton 2 display will go here, and then the control unit will go here. This thing's just defunct. It hasn't worked since we bought the boat, so that's going to come out. Alright, I'm shoved back down in the lazarette. This is the old autopilot computer, and this is where the controller connects into. Just goes in right there. So I gotta take this end connector off so that I can pull the whole thing up through and then remount the thing in its new spot. So super fucking weird. Gotta make sure I wire that back just how it came out. Alright. Pull this through. Alright, well, end of the day update. I've got the old autopilot controller remounted. Gotta put all this back together. I got my two messenger lines in case I ever need to run a cable back up into the binnacle. We did it, Penny. We did it. Alright, so a couple things out of the way before the autopilot even arrives. Great success, great success.
So today in Chiapas, we're doing something really fun. We're kind of going on like a group guided tour to a few different sites. Wow, that's a very loud bird. But there's a whole bunch of boats that are going to pile in a couple vans, and this tour guide who runs tours out of the marina and around Chiapas is going to come scoop us up, and we're going to do some exploring. I'm excited.
Guests come at that time. And when they came, of course, they brought a different language. They brought different culture, and they also continued.
The state of Chiapas is a small piece of the large region once inhabited by the Mayans, where for at least 2,000 years they flourished in this jungle landscape. Today, the state has one of the largest and most diverse indigenous populations in Mexico. It's also the second-ranked state in the production of cacao and is responsible for 60% of Mexico's total coffee output. So today, we were off to see the mountains where these plants grow and get to experience some of the local treasures. Wow, we just climbed up such a sketchy road, you guys. Going the other way is going to be even more sketchy, but this is beautiful. We're way up in the hills, in the clouds. Oh my gosh, do you see? Oh. The air smells like jasmine. And we're just coming around the corner here on these waterfalls. Oh my gatos, what? Is it cold? Is it freezing cold? Oh, that's cold. After sweating away in the hot marina for weeks, it was such a pleasant change to be able to visit the cooler mountain air and get to swim in the cold waters under such a gorgeous waterfall. In all our travels, this was actually the first time that we got to do something like this, and it was really amazing. After a streamside lunch of delicious local homemade tamales, we were back in the car and headed to our next stop, a world-renowned chocolate maker. After traveling the world and championing prizes from places like Italy and France for her chocolate, local legend Chepi Lapara carries on her long family's heritage of making chocolate by hand from scratch.
And then it begins growing, you see, like a little jalapeno, until it begins to grow. You see here?
The cacao tree is native to Mexico, and the peoples of Mesoamerica had been making a bitter drink with the plant for a long time before the Europeans arrived and added sugar to make the chocolate we know today.
There's no sure.
Really good.
Okay, oh, they're slimy. After tasting the sweet raw pulp surrounding the seeds, we got to watch the ancient technique in action in La Para's outdoor kitchen.
What you are going to see right now is that all the instruments that we use were used for the Mayans 2,000 years ago, except the iron.
Of course, iron didn't happen.
Because this one hits faster than the clay, but normally it's clay, but all the instruments, the metate and everything, is used for the Mayans.
Originally Mayan.
The beans are roasted over an open flame, peeled, and then placed on a mortar and pestle and ground into a fine powder by hand. She compacts the powder into discs, and we got to try it without anything else being added. And it tasted surprisingly like coffee.
It is like amazing how quite similar to coffee.
Then she adds a little sugar and a little cinnamon, some warm water, and makes a chocolate drink that we got to enjoy while our guides sang us a piece of the historic Chiapas anthem.
Compatriotas de Chiapas, levante una oliva de paz inmortal. That's the main part.
Next up, an organic coffee farm. Because coffee plants like mostly shade, they need to be planted among taller trees. So instead of rows of crop like we're used to in the States, this farm looks like a forest, with coffee plants sprinkled everywhere beneath the tall canopy.
The Arabica and the Robusta, okay? The season of the coffee is, as I mentioned, from August to December, sometimes beginning of January, but that's the season of the coffee production.
We got a tour of the beautiful grounds, and then we got to see some of the process here that takes a coffee bean on the plant and transforms it into the magic juice that we all know and love. What makes this particular establishment unique is that the equipment they use to process and roast the beans has remained almost entirely unchanged from its original installation over 100 years ago. It was a massive and impressive sequence of historic machinery. And the coffee itself was so delicious to get to sip while we sat and hung out in the rainforest. Well, it's day 700 in Chiapas, where we have really, it's kind of felt a little bit like Groundhog Day. Like we've just kind of been working every morning, taking the dogs for a walk, going up to the pool here, which is a really nice feature, in the heat of the afternoon to just cool down and kind of mingle with the rest of the marina. Everybody seems to sort of meander up there in the afternoon. So it's been kind of nice. It's also been a little like, okay, like we are approaching 3 weeks here in this slip, so it's been real. Anyway, today we have a little bit of good news and a little bit of bad news. So the good news is that we think that our autopilot package has arrived at the distribution center here in the nearest city, which is Tapachula. Word on the street is that waiting for the package to make it from the distribution center to your actual destination, like the marina here, can take a really long time and should just get ignored and lost and whatever. So your best bet is to go show up there and claim it. So we're going to try to do that today. It's still unclear if it's even there. It's all a mystery. The bad news is that our little Penny here's, her little like skin infection problem seems to just be carrying on. And she's got some paws now that really don't look good. So she's going back to a vet today. Hopefully we're trying to find somebody right now who speaks enough English to be able to really like communicate sort of the history of this problem or whatever, and hopefully get her some more antibiotics so that this poor little dog can feel better. Luckily, we got Penny to a vet, but our attempt to claim our packages were unsuccessful. So, back to the marina we went, empty-handed. did not love that cab. We made more stops for him than we made for us, but we had a pretty traumatic vet experience for Penny again, unfortunately. And our packages are not here. So semi-successful. So it was a rough day for Penny. She got a shot of some anti-inflammatory or pain med that she absolutely screamed upon getting, and that was really difficult to see. She's back home and she's gonna be a conehead for another like 3 weeks here. Poor little baby. She has a fungal infection. The doctor said it's extremely common in this area because of the heat and humidity, and dogs sweat between their, between their paws. Like, so if it just doesn't really dry properly or they're sweating a lot, then we'll try again tomorrow or the next day for our packages for the autopilot that should be here soon. And then I think the light at the end of the tunnel here is going to start to appear. For now, it's a little more just hanging out, waiting. And, we live here now. Chiapas is our home. So. This time of year here is actually the hottest that it ever gets. Just on the brink of rainy season, meaning that the heat and humidity builds and builds and builds in the day. And though nearby towns get storms, here we never get the rain that breaks the heat and makes it bearable. Even with our new AC running, the inside temps of the boat remain warm. But the perk of all that heat is all of the delicious mango and fruit trees that grow happily on the marina grounds.
So many, yeah, we have many.
That's crazy. Do they fruit all year or?
No, just
Just this time of year?
yes.
Oh, this is plenty. Thank you.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah, are you sure?
Oh yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow, yeah.
Gracias.
Wow.
Halibut.
Look at those right off the tree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a feast.
Take the skin off and
Okay.
make a slice, and with tahini, that's very
Tahini.
good. Always good with tahini too.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. That's dessert. Thank you. That's so cool. Okay, so yesterday, was it yesterday that we tried this? 2 days ago, the autopilot mission was a fail. Lady said, dunno, not here, maybe in the next couple days. So today is attempt number 2. Mike is going to take another cab to another Estafeta destination, shipping, whatever, and knock on their door and say, please, give me my shit. And I really hope you come back with an autopilot today.
Yeah, me too. I actually believe it's there. So whether or
That's
not
good.
they'll release it to me, or maybe their system's like not updating in a timely way, so I don't know. But if nothing else, it'll be a cab ride into town. And
Cool, that was fun last time.
it's really fun, yeah. But yeah, so fingers crossed, I'll be back with an autopilot.
All right, everybody cross your fingers and cross your toes.
Cross your nipples.
Don't. Go get that autopilot, Mike. Go
Okay.
get that autopilot.
Well. Success. It took like 3 stops. Got our autopilot. I got part of it here. The rest is in the cab with my friend Kyle from Jubal, and it's dumping rain. I'm just waiting for Kyle to come pick me up in the cab and head back to the marina. But we got it.
And very windblown, Mike. You look.
It was intense. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have an autopilot?
I hope that's what's in here. It took, so we went to the first Estafeta office and they told me I needed a copy of my passport. They wouldn't accept my actual passport. So I had to go like find a place that would make copies. And then back to the office, got 2 of them, but one of them had already been shipped to the office downtown.
Oh my
So then we
God.
had to go downtown. They dropped me off and then Kyle went to go get his stuff. They made 2 stops and they came back and picked me up, and then we got stopped by the police on the way back.
You know why this happened? It's because you guys all thought really good thoughts for us. today, and you made it happen. So that makes, I think we're literally exactly 4 weeks today of being here in Chiapas. So now, of course, we need to install everything, which is going to be days and days, and that's assuming that we have all the right pieces. And then we need to like check out and stuff. So we still have some time that we're going to be here, but this is a big step. Big step. It was time to celebrate. And that night, we got our first rain. The rain finally came! It's really happening. Join us next time
I'm gonna go cut a hole in the boat.
for the biggest, most complex project
The equivalent of the stroke of the ram.
we have ever taken on in our nearly 3 years of living aboard. Well,
I think I've done it.
Mike, what did you do to this lens?
Yeah, well, I guess they're looking for like illegal people. You know, there's a lot of immigration.
Yeah.
Like, people who shouldn't be in Mexico. They stopped us. There's like 15 cops that all with assault rifles that come up. He doesn't talk to the driver at all in the cab. Just talks to us.
Huh.
And then he asked for IDs. So Kyle gave him his British Columbian ID, and I gave him my U.S. passport. And the guy read British Columbia, but he like keyed on Colombia, and he was like, "Tú estás de Colombia," and like I swear Kyle almost got shot. We were like, "No, British Columbia."
Honestly, it's like half the things I say here, I'm like, as I'm saying them, I'm like, I'm not even gonna put this in because it's so dumb. And then I continue talking. It's like, it is so dumb. This is a good example, actually, of something that I know I'm not gonna freaking put in, but I'm still doing. So